If this is the hands of time, it's almost midnight. Are you serious? This is a beautiful watch. It was hand carved. This is wood. Hand carved by a man in Washington State, sent to me by Rita and Ted Bentley out of Oklahoma. It's midnight. It's almost there. We're just seconds away from the end of time as we know it. It's running out. And let me share with you something. Get a cup of coffee right now. Settle down. I've got some late breaking news information all coming out of Syria that shows you. Matter of fact, the Bible says right here in the scriptures in Isaiah in 17:1, the burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is no longer a city, but has become a ruinous heap. Quickly, let's go to 5 headlines from Syria. The Syrian defense minister has been killed in a suicide blast. A suicide bomber struck the National Security Building in the Syrian capital today, on this Wednesday, July the 18th, killing the defense minister, wounding the interior minister in a brazen attack on the seat of the government power, the state-run TV is telling us. Defense Minister Daoud Raha, he's 65. He was a former army general, is the most senior government official to be killed in the Syrian civil war as rebels battle to oust President Bashar Assad. The Interior Minister Mohammed Shahar was in stable condition, state-run TV is telling us. So here's a suicide bomber who's able to get all the way to the National Security Building, blow himself up to injure, but in stable condition, the Interior Minister and kill the Defense Minister. The Defense Minister. How close are the rebels getting to Assad? The city of Damascus is becoming a ruinous heap. I've seen photos, I've seen footage yesterday of complete city blocks in Damascus, apartment complexes, not every building in the block down, completely down, piles of rubble, disastrous, not habitable by man or beast. Although it was unclear who was behind this attack, this high-level assassination could signal a turning point in the 16-month conflict as the violence becomes increasingly chaotic. The capital also has seen 4 straight days of clashes pitting government troops against the rebels, an unprecedented challenge to government rule in the tightly controlled capital. Folks, the wheels are coming off Assad's regime. The Bible said it would. It said it would. Matter of fact, Jeremiah explained to us just exactly how it would come off, how it would get worse in Jeremiah 49, 23 through 27. But there's other things going on as it relates to this Middle East struggle. The United States is beginning to tell us now that 20 nations are planning exercises in the Middle East. The United States says militaries from more than 20 nations will take part in an anti-mining exercise in the Middle East waterways. Defense Department Press Secretary George Little says the exercise will take place between September 16th through the 27th. So there's nations are beginning to converge in the region. And Jordan, very concerned about what's going on in Syria. Updates now, Jordan is moving to ward off a Syrian chemical attack. Jordan has taken precautions to ward off a possible Syrian chemical attack. Jordan's foreign minister said Tuesday, reflecting concern that Syria might use such weapons if the uprising there threatens the regime. Well, it is. It is. Matter of fact, a high-ranking general out of the 18 generals that have defected to Turkey, I saw an interview of one yesterday who said he has no doubt in his mind that Assad will use chemical weapons upon the population if he feels that he's caged. He said he might even use it on Israel. He said, I'm almost certain he's already used it on the city of Homs about 2 months ago. The matter is of grave concern to Jordan, and we have taken all necessary measures to confront that, said the foreign minister Nasser Judah. He declined to say what measures were taken. And then the rebels have declared the battle for Damascus. The battle for Damascus is on, according to ABC News. Ann Barker's reporting. The Syrian government has dismissed reports of a concerted opposition assault in the center of Damascus. Syrian rebel army says it has launched a full-scale offensive to liberate the capital, dubbing the campaign the Damascus volcano and earthquakes of Syria. That is what they're calling the operation. The Damascus volcano and the earthquakes of Syria. Fighting in the capital appears to be worsening, with reports that government forces are deploying tanks, helicopters, gunships, and they fight to regain control of the rebel-held areas. The Syrian information minister says security forces are pursuing terrorist groups, but has denied suggestions that there was fighting in the city's main streets. But we know there is. We've seen videotape of it. We know it is. Reports say the helicopter gunships armed with heavy machine guns have attacked key neighborhoods on yesterday on July 17, 2012, and several blasts shook another district a few hours after rebels had announced their full-scale offensive to take the capital. For the early hours, the regime forces used helicopters with machine guns, and they're attacking Damascus. It's getting ugly. And then there's a report coming from the Debka File. And I want to thank Ricardo Brown and Reverend Gary of Kentucky and Stephen of Oklahoma for all of these reports. If Damascus falls, Israel and its gas fields fear threatened. I repeat, if Damascus falls, and let me rephrase it as when Damascus falls, Israel is afraid, or they're fearing, that they will be attacked in their oil fields. Let me read to you what the article says quickly. Then I have 3 verses from the Bible. Syrian military forces were gathered yesterday, July 17, 2012, to save Damascus. Tanks, armored vehicles were positioned in strength in the capital's center, around the government buildings. However, the noise and the fury of battle in the Syrian capital Tuesday, July 17th. Military sources are reporting that 6 battalions of Bashar Assad's loyal militia is in clashes with the rebels who captured 2 southern suburbs of Damascus. It's getting ugly. It's getting very ugly. But the Bible says not if Damascus falls, but when it falls. In Jeremiah 49:23, the prophet Jeremiah explains the fall. He says, quote, concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded and Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There's sorrow on the sea. It cannot be quiet. Damascus is waxed feeble. It turneth herself to flee. Fear is seized on her. Anguish and sorrows have taken her as a woman in travail. How is the city of praise not left? Where is the city of my joy? Therefore her young men shall fall in her streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord of hosts. And I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus. It's falling. Are you saved? We're living in the apocalyptic time. Give your life to Jesus Christ. The clock is right at midnight.